Okay, hello everybody. My name is Olga Sivell. I'm working at the Natural History Museum. As you probably know that my main area of focus is Phorids. However, today I came to you to talk about Phorids, the fantastic beasts. So the talk was put together by myself and Mark Welsh. And I'm aware that it has been a very intense day so far, but this talk is very easy. There will be a lot of pretty pictures, so just sit back, relax, and let me entertain you. It's just a quick overview. There is about 280 genera worldwide, 4,500 known species, and we predict that this is about 10% of the actual number of species. If you divide that by 10, you probably get what we have in Britain. So currently we have 358 species in 23 genera, and vast majority of them are in genus Megasilia, that is well loved by everybody. A quick look at what the Phorids actually do. They do a lot of different things, but I think you can basically reduce it to they either eat dead things or they make things that. If you look at that little thing in the corner, that's one of my absolute favorites. It's commonly called a coffin fly. And those are the little Phorids that go through the soil, dig through, go inside the coffins, and they live there happily on dead people for up to 18 years. So really wonderful things, super exciting. There we go. Quick look at the size, because I don't know if you know, but a Phorid is actually currently known the smallest fly in the world, and it measures about 0.4 millimeters. It's that Eryplatea that you can see at the top, and you can have it compared to Musca domestica. So it's basically a size of something that Musca domestica could have eaten in one bite. The smallest in Britain, about 1 millimeter. You can see it next to the AA pin. So absolutely tiny thing, but super cute, the wingless female. And here you have a bit of a scale of smallness with the largest British Phorids going up to 5-6 millimeters. So they are absolutely huge, but they're really beautiful. And now I've got something super exciting to show you. So I hope you're ready. So this is my favorite. This is a female Phorid that I was gifted by a colleague at the Natural History Museum. It was collected in Angola, and it is a female Enigmatistis. We don't really know what species yet. There is only 21 described species so far, and not for all of them we know what the females look like. We've got 4 males from that sample, so we will have quite a bit of work to figure it out. But just look at her. Isn't she amazing? I think she looks a little bit like a flea, or stunning, absolutely stunning. If you see her under a microscope, you're not going to want to look at anything else, I promise. And those are pictures I got from a colleague in South Africa. So this is this genus that you just saw a moment ago. There is a male, and the male is actually carrying a female. Isn't it a wonderful life? So they're not only stunning, they're just really, really weird, really spectacular, really, really fun things to look at. And what's special about that genus as well is that their fronts are split into 2 parts. So you have the upper fronts and you have the lower fronts. And look at the shape of the lower fronts. Aren't they just absolutely amazing? So here you have one of the Enigmatistes, the Enigmatistes herrero. That's a male and that's a female. You could really think they are completely different things, right? Amazing stuff. And those on the right-hand side, well, my right-hand side, your left, those are some species that we are currently looking at with Mark, trying to figure out if we can identify them, or maybe they are actually undescribed species. They all came from Angola. But if you just look at the shapes and the colors, it's nothing farther from what people, think of Phorids as the little black jobs, or, calling their names like horrid Phorid. Nothing farther from the truth. So this is a closer look at more of those Enigmatistes, and just look at that head. Isn't it fantastic? My daughter calls it a Peppa Pig fly. Absolutely beautiful. So I would like to look at a few other things with you. Here's one of the flies that I see quite a lot of. Basically, any forensic case involving Phorids currently coming to NHM, or anything getting infested in the labs, you look under the microscope, and it's Megacilia scalaris. It's just absolutely everywhere. So it goes on the dead bodies, it invades the lab cultures, and it lives on anything you can actually imagine. I've got some specimens that have been reared from ticks that parasitized cow. You can't make up those stories, really. Henry mentions the Megacilia reared on things like wood polish or blue paint. Like, how? It's difficult to think what it actually eats there, but yeah, it does that. And decapitators, like this is amazing, a mini horror story with this little this is a British fly that attacks the little ants, and it injects the eggs into the ant, and that's where the little flies develop, and then they go into the ant heads, and that's where they pupate. Fantastic, right? Oh, I couldn't have made up a story like that, even if I really, really wonderful things. And the other myth, well, partial myth, because if you think about Megacilia, not all British genera are super difficult. You can actually identify some of them pretty easily. You can group the flies into easier groups, something that I've been learning from Mark in the past couple of weeks. And even now, as the absolute beginner, I am starting to see the characters that he shows me. And yes, it works. So you've got few genera that have wingless females, which are quite easy to spot because they have no wings and they don't have both ears. And then Metopina, that thing has this really funky bends in the wing veins, the wing vein 5 and 6, that is so characteristic. It's a really tiny thing as well, but if you see it under a microscope, those bends are really jump at you. And then Ponicera, the males have those pointy antennae that are just so spectacular. Like, I think that little thing actually looks a bit like a goat. I don't know what you think. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And then there are those huge ones, the 5-6 millimeter range species. You can't see it that well right here. I encourage you later to download the poster and have a look. But they have those transverse rows of stout hairs that are really amazing. And look at that species with those huge feathered bristles. Have you ever heard of feathered bristles? Like, this is the first time I've seen that. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. So a few words about how to collect phorids. They're basically everywhere. The Malay straps work well. For the Enigmatistes, they were collected from pitfall traps. The sweeping is not that great. But yeah, you basically look around and you are everywhere. Curation, what not to do? Can you guess from this what my advice would be with those things? Anybody would like to shout what not to do with phorids?
Don't use a massive pin.
Yeah, don't pin them. Don't stick them on a pin like a shashlik. You're only going to damage the plant, and then you really don't want to waste something that's so pretty, right? So yes, in terms of curation, Mark developed a very nifty method of actually gluing the dried specimens to the top of the pen. And that way you can get a really nice specimen. There's also a really good method of chemical drying them to preserve the color and the shapes. And as you can see on those specimens, it worked very, very well. It's, most phorids you are probably going to get in alcohol. The standard method still is slide mounting. And that will be useful for most of the small things, but also if you have to look at things like genitalia, which we know with megacillia and a few other things, there's just no way around it, then slide mount them. But a lot of them you can preserve dry, and you can preserve all those shapes and colors and the magnificent variety. But just look at that tiny Pulicifera. Imagine sticking a pin through that. No. So if there is one thing I would like you to take out of the talk today, apart from your absolute passion for phorids, is do not stick pins in them. And there is just a picture to show you how that there may be problems when you're drying them with the eye collapse or things like that. The method that Mark developed usually helps to avoid that, but with things like Phora, there's still a hit and miss. Now for the identification, I think the best place to go if you want to do a full species ID are Henry Disney's book. We've got two more for the British fauna. There is the key to genera with all the species in there, and you have one whole book separately for the megacillia. So my suggestion would be start with the other genera and then progress to megacillia when you still passion left for them. And also for today, we prepared with Mark a poster that depicts all of the British genera. So please go and have a look at that. It does give you all the characters that will allow you for identifying the genera. Some of the genera only have a single species in them, so that's an easy job for you. Yeah, but use it as a tool to help you navigate through the books as well. So if you have any issues with characters, or if you actually want to see how those things look like, just have a look. Right. Look at those puffs. Isn't he amazing? And look at the rainbow sheen on the wings. How can you not love phorids, I would say, right? So I would just want to say a huge thank you to Mark for teaching me all those things in the past few months, and hopefully we can continue learning together. Keita for donating the amazing enigmatistes, and 100 bason for the live images of enigmatistes that you saw today. There is a list of references for you if you want to have a look. And thank you very much.
Any questions?
Can I just clarify that the technique that doing side gluing in Brian Brown came up with that idea. A few people have picked it up, but it works pretty well.
I think there's quite a few people using it for different families.
Yeah.
Oh, the gluing technique is actually Brian Brown, but I think there's quite a lot of people using it for other families of flies as well. Anything that's very tiny, I think it's.
Don't pen.
Okay.
Megan?
What kind of glue do you use for the PVC glue?
Seems to work okay at the moment. We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
So how many people are going to go and look at Phorids now?
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.